Good afternoon. In this video, I want to deal again with the issue of the Neo-Confederate poison that's spreading through the King James Bible believers, and if that would break, if that would Hoffman. You can see it in Brian Denglinger. So we look at probably the root, the source of this is really Ruckman. And so look at what he has to say in his study Bible here quickly. And it says poison because it shows up and the venom comes out. You see what the venom is. First Timothy 6, footnote in 1 Timothy 6. Now these guys don't want you to know about this because they got it kind of hidden in there. But if you preach against, what he's going to say, if you preach against what they're saying here, you're contentious, you're a liar, you're proud, blah, blah, blah. This is how important they take it. So I'm just showing what they believe on this. And I get all the negative feedback. Oh, how dare you say this? How dare you attack breaking? None of you guys can refute what I'm saying. But yet you'll talk about how bad I am. And I don't care. I mean, but the point is that you just, you guys just defend your teachers no matter what. And I'm not saying don't listen to our breaking. Get him pull out an article. Get him pull out that video of why I'm for the Confederate flag. And what his lies. He lies about Grant having slaves in the White House. Just puts up stuff and lies about it. And lies about this is an interracial marriage issue. He doesn't tell you. The guy tells him, who has an interracial marriage, says, look, there's no way, no scripture prohibits interracial marriage in the scriptures for a Christian between another Christian. What does Ruckman say? Well, he was right about that, but let me see. Well, no, he doesn't say one thing that the guy was right. That's Alexandrian cult stuff there. Omission. Very subtle. Very subtle. Ruckman's had the same thing here. We'll see Ruckman here. Page 1586 in his reference Bible, study Bible, verses 1 to 5 make it clear that if any man teaches that the South was wrong on the issue of slavery, 1840, 1860. Now he's not going to tell you what they said about slavery in 1840, 1860. What they said about slavery back in 1840, 1860 was good. That's why you have Hoffman saying, well, the issue of slavery wasn't ended. They think it was positive good. They think there should still be slaves today. That's their attitude. Based on these verses here, that's their attitude is. They think that's what the Neo-Confederate view is. The South was right in defending slavery as a positive good. Now, what they want to hide the fact is, they want to cloud it up with the issues of states' rights and tariff issues and things like that. That was about slavery. Lincoln came to office, said he promised. His first inaugural, he said, promise, I am not going to touch slavery in your states. I can't, as a president of the United States, this is a dictator, or the tyrant. He says, I cannot touch your slaves where they are in the states. And he says, I'm going to obey the laws. I'm the president, I'm going to obey the laws. But he also said, I'm going to enforce the laws. That's what they hate. And the fact was, the southern states said, no, you're saying slavery is a bad thing, which has to be stopped and ended. We're saying it's a good thing that needs to be expanded. That's their view. That's what Ruckman is defending, 1840, 1860. And now he says people who disagree with that view are proud, ignorant, contentious, perverse, corrupt, and destitute of the truth. That's not racism or discrimination or prejudice. That's sound doctrine. That's true. I am not advocating the enslavement of any person or race by saying that. Well, he's saying slavery is good. That's what he's saying. I am consenting to wholesome words because as a bishop, I'm a Baptist church. Pastor of the Baptist church must be apt to teach. Well, he's lying. And he also leaves out what the South said about slavery. But that's what he's been teaching. Now, if you look up in his pastoral epistles thing, page 120, let as many servants under the yoke count their own masters. There went honest Abe and his gunboat sent down from Chesapeake Bay to steal Fort Sumter from the sovereign state of South Carolina. It's federal property. It's not, no one's stealing anything. It means everyone paid for that fort. That fort wasn't to oppress South Carolina. It was to enforce the laws of the federal government. And they fully represented the South. Was fully represented. That's why tariffs went down for many, many years as well as went up. So these guys, we just being the colonists had no representation in Parliament. The South was overrepresented because of the 3/5 rule, where a black man was counted as a 3/5 for purposes of the census, and therefore they had that representation in the House for that. And of course, each state had 2 senators, and they had filibuster rules, and they had, of course, they would control the Supreme Court with Taney in there with that idiotic or perverse Dred Scott decision, which they rejoiced about. The South did. The bond slave, it's all capitalism now. The bond slave yoke was to serve his master, not his employer. Well, we actually try to make a practical application. Now, obviously, slavery doesn't exist now, so it's very difficult to apply this to, practically speaking, to us. But Paul was saying, look, it was written in Rome, and most of these conditions in slavery. Look, this is, God can bless you in that, and be content with the situation you find yourself in. It doesn't justify slavery. It just recognizes the reality of slavery. The bondservant was told to serve, stay in the yoke, and not get across the Ohio River on the Underground Railroad. See, he was even against slaves escaping this slavery. He was told to serve if he was saved, whether anyone thought he was an Uncle Tom or not, and the young pastor was told to teach that and exhort it. Furthermore, he was ordered by the Holy Spirit to classify anyone who disagreed with that position. Congress, the Supreme Court, the President of the United States, the news media, NAACP, NCCC, the Roman Catholic Church, remember, told the Vatican recognized the Confederacy. The United Nations, as someone who was proud, knew nothing, and was hung up on strife and railing. That's it, lump it. America ceased to be a republic in 1865, and that year the Constitution was put in the wastebasket. No, it wasn't. The principles of the Declaration of Independence were restored. Not the Constitution put in the wastebasket. The fact of the matter is that slavery was going to be ended. And the South brought those issues on. We couldn't have passed an amendment if the South hadn't broken away and tried to resist the election of Lincoln, who was only for stopping the expansion of slavery. And Lincoln said for 2 years in that war, says, I'm only trying to preserve the Union. I can't end slavery. He kept telling them that. Finally, after 2 years, 3 years went on war, he says, look, obviously, slavery now has to be ended. That's why Emancipation Proclamation comes out. So look, we end this now. And the border states were allowed to keep their slaves because they went at war with the United States. But Lincoln told them, the handline's on the wall. A wall. This is going to end. And he even tried to compensate them for their slaves. They refused. And therefore, and of course, when the ratification of the 13th Amendment came up, Democrats were still trying to block it. They were still trying, who in the border states, they were still trying to block. That's why you get the issue of how difficult it was to get the 13th Amendment passed, because people are still trying to stop get these people free. And these were border state Democrats who were blocking that, the 13th Amendment. So a lot of things had to be done in order to get that thing passed. A lot of arms twisted and things going on in order to get that 13th Amendment passed, even with, the dominance of the Republican Party. But Lincoln wanted to make sure that was passed before the new party came in there. And but the Democrats were still refusing to do it. We have said this time over and over again and have demonstrated by printing decisions, district court judges against the states where states had, laws were more unjust and some weren't. Remember, the anti-gun laws started in the South to keep guns out of the hands of blacks, and the Jim Crow laws. The idea that American citizens would be divided according to race. It's immoral. Separate water fountains, and people have to go back of the bus. Anybody look at that would look at it and say, people are nuts. It's evil. And for the state laws where they're prejudiced and immoral. Now, we are not going to refight the Civil War. He just has. If you're against the South and their view of the Civil War, you're evil, wicked, contentious, proud, no nothing. That's Hoffman's view. That's Baker's view. That's Bryan's view. That's all these guys' views. They're all lies. They're all wrong on this issue. And 1 Corinthians 7, he makes a big deal about, finding condition. 1 Corinthians 7. So who's fighting? We fighting the Civil War. They are. They bring up 3 times. Hoffman bring up the issue of Lincoln. There's something about that. Why are they bringing this issue up? Because it bugs them. Baker puts up a video defending the Confederate flag and lying about what it stood for, lying what it stands for. Why I love the Confederate flag, and then try to attack the American flag. And then you've got his article. I said pull it down, pull the other things down. Admit you're wrong on that. we got more problems. But his people will come on there, oh, you're attacking Blake, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not anything he asked me to call him. It's something to talk on the phone about. He knows my stance on it. He's wrong. He's got Cherokee blood in him. He's talking about, his opinion, people shouldn't into it. And then, hey, put up the thing, it's, Scripture is not prohibited among Christians. Then you can say anything you want about it, care less. Scripturally, it's not prohibited, interracial marriage among Christians. It's not, because you're new nature. So whatever the issue of the nationalism issue is a different issue. But that's the fact. So certainly among Christians, it's not an issue. Even among non-Christians, it's really not an issue. These guys make an issue like some, all the races are going to get mixed up, which is ludicrous. But he goes, 1 Corinthians 7:20, let every man abide in the same calling wherein he is called. Art thou called being a servant? Care not for it. But if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. So if you're made free, if you can get your freedom, get it. Get it. See, Ruckman didn't want to talk about that. That's where, issue of Philemon and that issue where, Paul saying send him back, and now he's coming back as a former servant, so treat him as you would a brother now. Very hard to keep someone in slavery when you see him as a brother in Christ. Very difficult. But slavery was a very real issue in these times. So they had to deal with a particular problem because a lot of it was very complicated. What was slavery going to do if you freed them? They were dependent on the master. So it wasn't easy. That's why the first century of America. The slaveholders had a real issue to deal with. They had children, these people would have children, they were dependent, they would, on the masters. They had to, a lot more, they had to be educated. They had to find places for them to live, how to live, So those things are complicated. So obviously, the master felt a good master would have felt a good, a normal sense of responsibility toward these people. But the problem was, as it continued to move on, and it was, North had slavery, and they, abolished it slowly but surely, got rid of it. And the problem was, again, they had the same problems, and it doesn't mean they were any less racist than the South. They didn't like, particularly any love for black people either. But that's not the issue. The issue was how are you going to deal with the issue of slavery, and the South eventually became hardened of it because they started changing their view from an evil to a positive good, and that's when these compromises started happening, and they saw slavery where it was not intended to go anywhere in the country. It was supposed to be limited. I guess the founding fathers wanted to eventually just end, slowly but surely end, and that's what they were hoping for, but. As the slavery became actually profitable, very more profitable, and the propaganda began being spread. We're not going to end this. This is and if you keep advocating ending it, we say no. We see it as a good now. That's when things shifted, and they saw it as their right. They saw they were being told they can't take the slaves certain places. And they said it's our personal property, and therefore it's a property issue. And that's what they were defending it on. That had to be ended. But the reality is that these guys will see that that's the view. They see not slavery as an evil, how to be dealt with, and God regulated it in order to protect the slave and to protect them from abuses and things like that. Dealing with the reality of what happens in the real world. That's where slavery exists in many countries in the world still, particularly Muslim countries, and they're the ones who really spread slavery. But the fact is that that was the issue. What we're going to do with slavery, how we're going to stop the spread of it. But when it comes to these guys, they have the particular issue with it. They're the ones that are bothered by the fact that it ended. They're the ones that are upset. There's no more slavery. Ruckman, that's what he's saying about that. That the South was right in the contention. In 1840, 1860, the South was saying that they were starting their nation under a new cornerstone, not that all men are created equal. Which by equal means that all men have certain inalienable rights. They have a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That was their right as individuals. I'm not saying individual basis, we're all on equal. We all have different talents and different issues. I mean, that's not equality, it's we're all the same. But every man is as equal in the sense of eyes of God. And the idea was that the South rejected that. The South said, no, this particular race is inferior, we have a right to enslave them. Now, if you agree with that, then go with the Neo-Confederate view. That's what he's saying. That's what Hoffman's saying. That's what Breaker's saying. He don't want to say. He has a website up there, the Confederate Baptist, and talks about his great-great-grandfather talking about these things. And he has a big disclaimer up there. This is not meant to inflame anything, blah, blah, blah. They always give these little disclaimers, but they're always putting that stuff out there like it's truth when it's a lie. And, they have this view that a poison that comes through their writings and has to be looked at. I'm not saying don't read their works. I'm not saying don't look at their footnotes. I've said there. I have many excellent footnotes in the Hoffman Bible and the Ruckman Study Bible. But beware. Beware what Breaker says about this stuff. Beware what Hoffman says. Beware of Ruckman and these issues. And be very careful with that so you don't get poisoned by it. And a lot of people are just reacting to it and just, they just want to ignore it. But it seeps in there. It seeps in there. And it's an important issue because you can see it comes up with these guys and how they view these issues. So again, something you have to look at, be careful about. And what they say about the Civil War is not going to refight the Civil War. Well, you can't refight it because the South was wrong. The South was wrong. That was it. They had no right to secede from the Union. Lincoln was not a threat to them. Lincoln did not try to impose anything on them. They're the ones, when Buchanan was still president, who started seceding and then taking over federal property without trying to compensate. That wasn't their property. That's federal property. Compensating anybody for it. They were just going to do what they wanted to do because they had a very weak president, a pro-Southern president, Buchanan, who was against secession, but he says he had no right to enforce the laws. That's what his view was. So he allowed these states to secede and not do anything about it. And then the Fort Sumter issue comes. Lincoln says, "Look, we got to stop this." And it's federal property. You have no right to fire on the flag, the American flag. That nonsense. And then of course these guys drag it out that all the abuses since that have been, because of Lincoln, which is nonsense. But anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Your comments are very welcome. Refute what I say about don't come up there and just, the people come up and break me. It's all ad hominem attacks. Oh, Ed, you can't speak correctly. You don't know this. You don't know that. And everything. And you're just attacking Breaker. Because and you're attacking these guys. I'm trying to show you guys what these guys are saying about a particular issue that they strongly believe in, and yet you guys can't defend it. I'll put you up to defend what this guy says. Defend it. You can't. He's lying. Ruckman lies. Why don't you tell us, Ruckman? Why don't you tell us what that Southern view was? He didn't tell you that. That's an Alexandrian mindset there. When a spirit gets in there, it doesn't matter. Be King James Bible believer. That's a spirit. Spirit of omission, lying by omission. He doesn't tell you what that Southern view was. He's going to attack Lincoln over the Emancipation Proclamation. That came 3 years into the war. He didn't issue that the first day he came in office. Look at this first inaugural. He told the South, he said, we must not fight over this. I am bound by his president not to touch your slaves where they are. That's in his inaugural. That's what his promises were. In fact, he said, I'm willing to compromise and make it a constitutional amendment not to touch your slaves where they are in the South. He said that. That's a history fact. You can't, it wasn't, he says, no, that's the issue. I'm not going to touch a slave. What did the South say? No. You're saying slavery is evil, and it can't expand, and therefore you're saying we can't take our slaves anywhere we want, and that's our property, and therefore we have a right to do that, and therefore we're going to secede because we've had you Northerners telling us that slavery is wrong. And that's what he said, they saw it as a positive good. That is the core issue about this issue. And these people can lie and come up there and jump up and down. They make an issue out of it. They attack these issues. We expose it. People expose them. And you guys just come up there and just don't want to see it. And you'll get poisoned by this. It's a poison. Because you know what? You rather believe a lie than the truth. You guys will follow a Breaker? Refute him on it. Well, you're Breaker, you wrong on this. Breaker, you wrong on this. You need to take that video down defending the Confederate flag. You need to take that the article down defending the issue of interracial marriage. If you guys listen to him, you should hey, rebuke him on it. Don't come to me and say, well, why are you attacking Baker? Deal with him. He's the one who had that thing up to 2000. He's the one who put the issue of Confederate flag. He did that. Hoffman is the one who put 3 footnotes in the study Bible. Ruckman is the one putting this garbage in his study Bible and his commentaries. Not me. I'm just saying what they say is wrong. And it seems like guys just can't take it. Don't want to take it. They're making an issue out of it. They're making an issue out of it, and it's a subtle, insidious lie that is permeated. That's why they'll, interracial marriage. That's why they're against interracial marriage. They think it's, they look at it as a superior inferior thing. They can lie all they want. That's exactly what they're saying. And they're mixing the blood, and the New World Order is going to come because you mixed, like all these nations are mixed, they're just going to somehow mix together. It's ludicrous. It's nothing. When you're Christian, interracial marriage is not an issue. But these guys will, Brian have all videos on that. Why I'm not a racist? I'm against interracial marriage. But that's what these guys come from. But the responsibility is for anyone teaching, is to expose people who are lying or falsehoods. Ruckman does it with the Schofield Bible. He'll show where Schofield is incorrect in many areas, which is what you're supposed to do. And people, people love the Schofield notes. Many good things in the Schofield notes. But again, errors in there. But the fact is that because your favorite guy is being exposed or something, instead of just saying, yeah, the guy's wrong in that, and we move on and check myself on that, make sure I don't get absorbed in that. You guys get all, a lot of people get really bent out of shape, which is okay with me. I put the challenge, I refute it. Can't refute it, I don't care. Come up there, you make your arguments, add this, you add that, you have a lisp, you have this, you can't talk straight, blah, 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 Okay, it's fine. That's fine, But you can't deal with the truth. Just can't deal with the truth. And that's what these guys, that's a wing through King James Bible believers, just like Anderson claims to be King James Bible believer, he's teaching a lie with the Holocaust denial. It's the same thing now with this Neo-Confederate lie spreading through King James Bible believers. And what happens there? The King James Bible becomes tainted by association with this lie. Amen. Thank you.